that has stunned collectors and investors across the world with a jaw-dropping value of $13 million. Yes, you heard that right, $13 million. For a single penny that was originally worth just 1 cent, and what makes this tiny piece of copper so incredibly valuable is not just its age or its design but the remarkable minting mistakes, die variations, and rare errors that have made it one of the most sought-after treasures in numismatic history. So sit back, grab your magnifying glass, and let's explore how a small piece of metal turned into a multi-million-dollar mystery that continues to capture the imagination of collectors even decades later. The 1985 Liberty 1-cent coin, part of the iconic Lincoln penny series, was struck at a time when the United States Mint was transitioning through major technological and metallurgical changes, and these shifts led to a range of unexpected minting errors that slipped through the quality control systems of the U.S. Mint. The coin, featuring the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, might look ordinary at first glance, but for the trained eye, several clues point to something extraordinary. Some examples of this coin were struck on planchets that were never meant for the 1985 series, in some cases, on leftover copper alloy planchets from previous years, even though by 1985, the U.S. Mint had already switched to a copper-plated zinc composition. This mix-up created a handful of coins that were heavier, with a metallic tone different from the standard 1985 issues. Collectors who discovered these differences noticed right away that the weight, sound, and color of these coins stood apart, and laboratory testing later confirmed that certain 1985 pennies contained the pre-1982 composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a blend that should not have existed in 1985, instantly marking these coins as mint errors of monumental importance. The rarity of such a coin cannot be overstated, as experts believe that only a few examples were accidentally struck before the dies and planchets were replaced. Another layer of intrigue comes from the mint mark anomalies. In 1985, most Lincoln cents were produced in Philadelphia and Denver, but there are coins that appear to carry an odd mint mark placement, mispunched mint marks, or even signs of double dies where the letters D or P seem slightly duplicated or shadowed. These subtle errors can increase a coin's value exponentially because they signify that something went wrong during the minting process, making those pieces distinct from the billions of standard-issue coins. Some coins have been found with the D mint mark slightly tilted, off-center, or punched over another letter, which numismatists classify as a repunched mint mark or RPM, and these RPMs are a collector's dream. The more dramatic the error, the higher the coin's worth climbs. Now imagine combining that with an off-metal strike, a double die obverse, and a crisp mint condition, and you have a once-in-a-lifetime specimen, exactly the kind of coin that fetched a mind-blowing $13 million at a private auction. But how could a penny, something we often overlook, become this valuable? The answer lies in the intersection of rarity, condition, and historical context. The 1985 Liberty 1 cent is not rare because of its mintage, billions were made that year, but because of the handful of mint error coins that escaped unnoticed. When an error coin is produced, it typically gets caught during the minting inspection stage, but every now and then, a few manage to slip through, enter circulation, and eventually fall into the hands of a lucky finder. Imagine someone spending years collecting loose change, only to discover that one of their old pennies holds the power to change their life forever. That's exactly what happened when a collector, who had been sorting through rolls of 1980s pennies, stumbled upon a coin that looked slightly off in luster and weight. Upon closer examination under magnification, the details of Lincoln's portrait seemed doubled, the Liberty inscription appeared thickened, and the date had faint signs of doubling, all characteristics of a double die error. After professional grading and metallurgical testing, the coin was confirmed to be a genuine 1985 double die error struck on a leftover copper planchet from pre-1982, and that single discovery ignited a bidding war among elite collectors, driving its price up to an incredible $13 million. The story spread like wildfire through coin forums, collector shows, and auction houses, inspiring thousands of people to dig through their own change in hopes of finding another hidden gem from 1985. Beyond the double die and composition errors, there are even reports of 1985 pennies with off-center strikes where the design is visibly shifted from its normal position, sometimes with a crescent of blank space on one edge and compressed lettering on the other. These off-center coins reveal the misalignment of dies during striking, and depending on how dramatic the shift is, their values can range from a few hundred to thousands of dollars. A full off-center strike showing a clear date and mint mark is considered highly collectible and significantly raises a coin's desirability. There are also examples of 1985 Lincoln cents with broad strikes, coins that were struck without the collar die, allowing the metal to expand outward into a larger, flatter shape, another fascinating error that demonstrates the unpredictable nature of minting. Each type of mistake adds a unique fingerprint to the coin, turning it into a historical artifact rather than just another unit of currency. And then there's the mysterious case of the 1985 no mint mark coin from Philadelphia, which under normal circumstances should bear no mint mark, but a few examples show faint traces of what appears to be a P or even an overpunched character beneath the date, something that continues to puzzle experts to this day. Such anomalies fuel the passion of collectors because they represent unsolved mysteries in minting history, where human error, machine malfunction, and chance combine to create something truly rare. The United States Mint has always prided itself on precision, yet throughout history, small imperfections have given rise to some of the most valuable coins ever known, and the 1985 Liberty 1 cent is a shining example of that. Its rarity is amplified by its perfect preservation. The $13 million example that made headlines was graded at the highest level by a major grading service, showing mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details that suggest it was never circulated. That kind of pristine condition, combined with undeniable minting errors, places it in a league of its own. Collectors value such coins not only for their scarcity but also for their story, the story of a coin that was supposed to be ordinary but became extraordinary by accident. Every nick, shadow, and doubled letter tells a tale of the minting process, the presses, the dies, and the fleeting moment when something went wrong, creating beauty out of imperfection. When you think about it, it's poetic that the word liberty itself appears on this coin, symbolizing freedom, individuality, and uniqueness, traits that perfectly match this penny's remarkable journey. Many experts speculate that other examples might still exist, waiting to be discovered in old collections, forgotten coin jars, or unsearched bank rolls. The idea that an overlooked penny could be worth millions fuels the dream of every coin hunter. But finding one is not easy. You need to know what to look for: the slight doubling on the obverse, the unusual shine of a copper composition instead of zinc, the off-centered features, or the repunched mint mark that seems just a little off. These tiny details separate fortune from ordinary. The market for rare coins has exploded in recent years as investors, collectors, and even celebrities have started turning to rare coins as alternative assets. When the story of the 1985 Liberty 1 cent coin's $13 million sale broke, major numismatic firms reported surges in demand for error pennies, and online marketplaces were flooded with listings of 1985 coins, though only a tiny fraction were genuine errors. It became a reminder that knowledge is the real treasure in coin collecting. Understanding the difference between a regular coin and a mint error could be the key to unlocking hidden wealth. The story of this coin is also a testament to the unpredictable nature of history. When the U.S. Mint introduced the copper-plated zinc planchet in 1982, they could not have imagined that a few leftover copper blanks would somehow slip into the minting presses years later, creating coins that would one day be worth millions. It shows how even the smallest oversight can leave a lasting impact. The 1985 Liberty 1 cent coin, with its unusual dollars because of its incredible history, containing mistakes, and mysterious mark errors transformed it. From an ordinary piece of change to a legendary collector's dream. Now, imagine holding a coin that was 1 cent, just 1 small cent. Due to a twist of history and a few tiny details that most people never noticed, it